very good afternoon. You're watching NewsX and I'm Shivani Singh. What we are bringing to you in this broadcast is a big NewsX Sunday Guardian exclusive. My colleague Abhinandan Mishra has spoken to a researcher who is the whistleblower in the ongoing CBSE result discrepancies. While CBSE has now admitted that they marked papers of two students wrong, a researcher or a software engineer based in West Bengal has told us that he raised these discrepancies twice to the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team over a 3-month period. He found several vulnerabilities in the portal of on-screen marking systems or OSM and prepared 2 reports which were sent to CBSE. Let's first take a look at the full story and then get in Abhinandan to speak about this big exclusive scoop. We've also in fact opened up our phone lines for you viewers. If you're a student, a parent or a teacher and you want to put out your grievances, we are here for you. You can call us. You will see those numbers on the bottom of your screens. With that, let's in fact take a look at the details of this case so that you will get a clear understanding of what this entire case really is. So this is a CBSE tech glitch in the answer sheet that has in fact worsened over time. So this is what we are bringing to you right now. The Sunday Guardian and NewsX exclusive. It has interviewed a whistleblower researcher in the CBSE matter. So this is a whistleblower that we have got our reports based on. They have given us some inputs regarding this entire online marking system. We are getting you these websites and how it looks like as well. Remember that this is not a public portal. This is a portal that is used by examiners. This is a portal that is used by head examiners as well. So this is not a public portal. However, this is the on-screen marking system that we are bringing to you here. This is the portal, how it looks like for you. Now the researcher, however, had flagged various vulnerabilities in the CBSE digital system. Remember that CBSE had just shifted to the digital marking system, and this researcher has brought out certain issues that he found with the system. Now there are concerns that were reported twice to the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. So this is a cert in that were in fact informed of these various concerns twice. Now we are getting you a sample screen of what it looks like, the online marking system. Let me show you over here. So on the left hand side you will see how the question paper looks like and how the marking scheme is. So they said that if there are certain number of steps that are in fact completed, then you can allot them various marks. So you can see that on the left side of your screen. So if they have completed step number 1, 2, 3, 4, they will be allotted certain number of marks. And now they scan the students in fact answer sheet on this portal. Then it gets uploaded and that's how they make the comparison. So on the left hand side is what you can see is the steps and then the students' marks. So they compare it and then the students are allotted various marks depending on the steps. Now what the researcher is saying that he is a software engineer based in West Bengal, and he had in fact found out these various concerns and vulnerabilities in the system, and he was saying that there are certain concerns about access, there are certain concerns about how anyone, there is no OTP validation from, there is only OTP validation from the client side and no OTP validation from the back end system. So this researcher is a software engineer who is based in West Bengal. Let's look at what concerns that he actually raised. His tech check alleged weaknesses in the authentication and access controls. So he has in fact raised concerns about authentication, that there is no proper authentication that is done on this system, and also access. anybody can access this. So what he's saying that he found that entering a value bypassed the authentication sequence. So he's saying that if you entered a certain value, it entirely bypassed that system. He's also saying that the OTP verification was handled on the client side. So he's saying that if OTP verification has to be strong, then it has to be handled on the back end systems as well, and not just the client side. And what he's observed in the system in CBSE digital is that OTP verification was only handled on the client side. So this is a massive concern that he has in fact also flagged. Let's look at another in fact concerns that he has brought to the fore. He is saying that the OTP wasn't being enforced by the back-end system and hence was open to breaches. So why is the OTP verification important for the back-end systems to also enforce? Is so that there are no breaches to this entire system. However, he is saying that since it's not enforced by the back-end system, there were breaches in that. Now this interface has exposed the ability to view and alter marks as well. So he is saying that if you are able to access the system firstly, then you are able to get the OTP verification and bypass that system. He says there is a possibility that you can view the marks of the student on the system and then you can alter the marks as well. Now reaching this stage did not require exploitation combinations. So he is saying that this is no rocket science that requires to breach this system, because these are simple technical faults that he has observed in the system. So he is saying that breaching this stage will not require exploitation of various combinations, or you need to put in a lot of effort. This can be done easily. That's what the software engineer in fact is stating. Now the second report that he submitted showed personal data exposure as well. So like we mentioned at the start of this report, twice he has flagged concerns. The first one were technical concerns. The second one again, he said that in this CBSE website, personal data exposure can also be there. We've got you in fact a statement that he had put out. He goes by the handle of Nisarga, and he said that this is a really bad thing. Found another severe vulnerability in CBSE's OSM portal, just sent another report to CERT in. So he said that there can be personal data breach as well on this system. Now CBSE is yet to respond to the Sunday Guardian investigation. So we are yet to receive any response from CBSE regarding this. But let me in fact go across to Mr. Abhinandan Mishra, who's the editor at the Sunday Guardian, and whose exclusive scoop we were just in fact explaining to you viewers. Mr. Mishra, thank you so much for taking out your time and for speaking to NewsX. I want to understand from you, firstly, what all were the concerns that were flagged by this particular software engineer in the digital system of CBSE?
Shivani. So basically, Shivani, this is a very simple thing. I mean, it's a technical thing in that sense, but I want to explain it in a very simple manner for our viewers. This particular site has been developed by the CBSE, where the examiners the answer sheet of the student is uploaded and the examiners then go through it, and then they give marks for that particular answer. So you can understand how critical this website is for the student and for the entire sanctity of the CBSE examination system. So this particular security cyber researcher was able to enter that point into the website where he could easily change the marks that a particular student had got. And this is something that he had flagged in February 1st, for which the CERT reached out to him that we have received your complaint and we will require some more proof. So he submitted that proof, that how he reached to that particular site and what are its implications. But after that, the CERT stopped responding. Then last night, he again found some vulnerabilities in that same website. He again reached out to the CERT. CERT gave him a particular complaint number sort of thing. And then the entire site was taken down. And we have to understand that this entire thing is happening as the questions are being raised on the Department of Education, how it is handling the NEET exam. Last night, there was a controversy regarding how a student who had given a physics paper, when later he realized that the physics paper which was showed to him was not his. It belonged to some other student. So these concerns have been happening at multiple levels across the last 3-4 months, but the Ministry of Education is not taking it seriously, first. Secondly, the site was being managed by a company that has already had complaints against it. There are media reports which were shared to me by other people also that this particular company has done a very shoddy job in the past also, and this company is the same company that is handling this website. So these are questions that the Education Ministry needs to answer. We have already reached out to the CBSE for a response. We are awaiting a response.
Absolutely. And Mr. Mishra, if I can also get your, when you were putting out this article, obviously the whistleblower has also, raised a lot of concerns. He said that twice he's flagged these vulnerabilities. Once they were about OTP verification and authentication and access controls, and then the next he's also pointed out to personal data breach that could happen. Could you explain a bit more on those fronts as well, sir?
We have to understand that why this site is so important. It is a site where the answers of the students are uploaded, and then the teacher logs into that particular website, and then it goes through the answer sheet and gives the marks. And then that marks decide the future of the particular student. But this researcher was able to, as I have said again, said in the past, that this researcher was able to enter a point into the website where he could see the copies of the students, and then he could even edit the marks. And he needed nothing. And he just needed publicly available information like the school name, the date of the exam. And it was very, I myself was very surprised that a system like this, which impacts students at such levels, is being so easily be accessed by a 19-year-old boy. So obviously they need to work on this very swiftly. And questions will be raised when the results are declared of the 10th and 12th.
Absolutely, sir. Questions will be raised with these concerns now coming to the fore. I also want to understand, sir, you've mentioned in the article that twice when he wrote to CBSE and to CERT in, he got some sort of an acknowledgement mail. However, no action or follow-up has been taken since then. Is that right, sir?
In the first instance, in the February instance, he wrote to CERT, which is the Computer Emergency Response Team, which functions under the Ministry of Information and Technology. So they reached out to him. They sought more proof and more details from him, which he provided. But after that, they stopped responding. So, but I was told that they worked on those vulnerabilities which he had pointed out, and they were sorted. But the last night, the vulnerabilities that he pointed out last night, no response apart from an acknowledgement was received. But the site was pulled down by the CBSE guys.
Absolutely. Sir, if I can request you to please stay on with us. We are in fact bringing in some more information